Veterans Minister Johnny Mercer has told GBNews that he aims to make the UK the best country in the world to be a veteran. Veterans are forgotten about far too much, and I think we treat them appallingly in this country. And he wants to highlight the support the government was providing to armed forces across the country, but he's announced a project named Operation Fortitude, which is a referral scheme for homeless veterans to access support. So Mercer wants to, and this is the big line really, he wants to end homelessness among veterans by 2024. So homeless military veterans supposedly could be a thing of the past. With me now is Gary Weaving, who is a founder and CEO of Forgotten Veterans UK. Gary, thank you. Look, it's great to talk to you again, my good man. Cheers for coming on the show. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the fact that veterans should not be lining the streets, especially in light of some of the people who get 4- and 5-star hotels. What do you make of what Johnny Mercer has had to say?
Well, let's be honest, anything that is a bonus to the community, like a project like Op Fortitude and an easier access route, is in our benefit. 900 units, 900 bed spaces would be really, really appreciated. And I thank Johnny Mercer for taking this subject more seriously, and I commend him for this. But there is a big but. You know, we've been trying to house veterans for the last 7 years. And what is clear to me is they haven't considered the wider picture than just street homeless. We have tens of thousands of veterans living in very rundown HMOs. The rent for these HMOs has gone through the roof recently. And a veteran that's often unable to work due to injury, trauma or mental health problems are struggling to pay £600, £650 a month for just a room. And this was raised recently in the House of Commons. They voted to raise the housing benefit limit, but it wasn't passed. I've been getting a lot of calls from Work and Pensions Armed Forces champions saying that this is a real issue. Okay. So what's happening is they only get, say, $450, and what they're then having to do is pay the extra out of their personal independence payment or their benefits, leading them with absolutely nothing. Yeah. But under the rules, Patrick, because they are in one of these rooms, they are classed as housed. So it's a false statistic. Okay. You know, how can you ever expect a veteran to move forward in his life and deal with his problems and engage back into society when they haven't got a home and a stable base? Well,
it's impossible, and you've identified some really key features there, and it always gets swept under the carpet. Always gets swept under the carpet when it comes to homeless veterans. Look, as you've rightly said there, Johnny Mercer, good luck to him. I think we can all get behind the idea that there's the will there in terms of wanting to house these veterans. We'll have to wait and see on the specifics of it. We'll be keeping an eye on it. But just from a moral standpoint, Gary, it pretty much brings a tear to my eye that we can have men and women who can fight and die for this country. We're happy for them to walk into the gunfire and suffer horrific injuries and mental injuries and leave their family and their loved ones and their kids at home for months or years on end. And then when they come home, we don't look after them. And I just can't help, Gary, but think this has been a massive fault in this country for a while now.
Hugely. You know, like I've said on here before, we are a free and great nation, and we should help the immigrants that fled war in genuine cases. But it's not being dealt out fairly. They're getting an advantage above the people that are from here. I had a case recently that a veteran who was an amputee in his 60s had a major heart attack. Because he'd been out of the country more than 3 weeks, he had to prove he was British. He came back to the country with nothing to his name, just shorts and T-shirt, and I could not get him benefits or assistance. So that also needs to be addressed, please, Johnny. You know, it needs to not include British nationals, the habituary rules. You know, if we got veterans walking the streets that are an amputee, but we've got illegal immigrants in 4-star hotels getting their food, all their services paid, how is this fair?